Welcome to the Chronically Well podcast, where we hold real conversations with community that need to be heard. On today's episode, I have the honor of speaking with Jaime. Jaime is someone who more recently I've come across in the diabetic online community. But as I tell everyone, Jaime, we may not know each other personally, but you are family to me because there's a relationship that's growing and blooming within this community that we never knew we needed throughout our lives. But now that we have it, it's something that we would never want to give away. So Jaime, thank you for joining me on this journey. Can you let the audience know about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Jaime Rivers and I reside in Houston, Texas. I am a photographer. I've been doing photography for 10 years now, and I specialize in portrait and event photography, as well as I was diagnosed with type 1 10 years ago as well. So everything was kind of new to me, as I'm beginning, like within my career. I'm also starting, this new journey of this disease that I've never heard before. So that's a brief synopsis of me.
Welcome to our community, Jaime. I know that if given the chance, you would not live with diabetes in general. None of us would. It's not a choice that was given to us, but it's something that we take on. We grab that ball and we try to be Mike Jordan with it, right?
Right.
Try to be our best. And for the most part, like everyone I've recorded with who was diagnosed, primarily like older teens, adults, we weren't gifted the educational resources that a lot of people were given.
Right.
So, yeah, because you were diagnosed 10 years ago. Look, I don't know how old you are today, but myself,
28.
28. Okay. So you were 18 when you were diagnosed.
Yes.
I was 20. So for the most part, everyone, we were adults, especially
Right.
coming from the community I come from. Like, I'm a black male from the streets, really, from those from that way of life. So I was growing and maturing even quicker and faster than other people. People who aren't black, not people of color. So we were almost force fed into adulthood at an early age. And being diagnosed yourself at 18.
Right.
I'm sure it changed the entire trajectory of everything about you and your future.
For sure. Like I said, I never heard of type 1 diabetes. I know that in my family, type 2 is more of like what I'm familiar with. So when this happened to me, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I didn't really have a reaction. It's just that, I got DKA. I went into DKA. And I just woke up from a coma and they said, hey, you have type 1 diabetes. They didn't really educate me on what it is. They just told me, hey, this is what you have. This is what you have to do. And I just went with it. Like I didn't have, they didn't give me any resources on, what to do after fact.
And that was 10 years ago
that was 10 years ago.
We know today that 10 years ago, a lot of the technology and education and resources that are in play today were available 10 years ago. Now, they didn't give you that upon diagnosis. If anyone wants us to be able to live our best lives, then they should give that to us. Give us that one pager, that pamphlet, that book everything that's needed so that we can just live. Like
Right.
now, you that was 10 years ago. And I'm
Right.
trying to date back 10 years ago to when so that would have been me in year 11. And I
Hmm.
know at year 11, I didn't know much.
Yeah.
So even
Yeah.
though people that I come across today, 10 years ago, they knew a lot.
Hmm. Yeah. Definitely. I said, I don't know, in the group chat that I just got the Dexcom. Like I was doing it, I guess technically the old fashioned way where you prick your finger and you put it to the machine and it reads for you. I just got an endocrinologist as well. I mean, I had one when I was first diagnosed, but I felt as though that person didn't really care for me. So I just completely stopped going to endocrinologists. And recently, um, I don't know, I just felt that I need a change because, something, in my life, it needs a change because I don't want to head down, you know, I guess just a worse path. I'm already dealing, with this disease, and I just felt I just needed a change. Long story short, and she introduced me to the Dexcom, and I was like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little hesitant because I'm so used to doing things on my own, and I didn't want to rely on technology to do it for me. But I will say I am a bit at ease, like being able to see what my sugar is, like at all times. And you have your alerts and stuff like that. Cause sometimes I can't, feel when my sugar is low. Sometimes I can't feel when my sugar is high. So it's good to have this device to, alert me so I can, react quickly with my sugar levels.
Right. So again, you're new to technology
Yeah, this
and
has only been 10 days.
look, brand new to technology.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone even introduced it to you before, because personally, I was probably, it was probably not until around 2015 to somewhere around 2015, 2016, 17, when I learned what a continuous glucose monitor was. And I wasn't really like, matter of fact, I didn't really learn what it was then. It was like my doctor, my general practitioner, because I wasn't seeing an endocrinologist either.
Hmm.
He like mentioned it to me, like in passing, was like, there's this 7 day center called a Libre, of Freestyle Libre, something. And I didn't know what he was talking about at all because he didn't say it to me like it was mandatory. Like it
Right,
was some,
right. Yeah, yeah.
if they would have told us from day one, like we know that there are these complications at risk. We're at more at risk for
Hmm.
while living with type 1 diabetes. Now, and if y'all would have told us that and given us that resource and education and guidance on day one, even day 10, letting us
Right,
know that just the whole mental strains that diabetes puts on us, and that this technology, because the true definition of technology is it is used to ease um any advanced knowledge on like information data received. Like it helps that it lessens the hard work that goes into things. Like, okay, you got a hammer with your hand, okay,
right,
but now you have a power hammer. Which
right,
one do you choose?
right,
Exactly. Like
right,
we have
right,
we have cars today that have electric windows.
right.
I remember growing up turning,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah,
lot of people today are like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like you had to
yeah,
turn that
yeah.
one. Now, and if you had to choose one versus the other, you're going to choose the one that eases you.
Uh-huh. Right.
Especially people living with um a chronic health condition such as type 1 diabetes because
Right.
there is so much other strains put on us physically, mentally,
Right.
emotionally.
Right.
Now, do you know, or have you gotten a chance to like think back and ask yourself, like, why wasn't I given this education?
Honestly, no, because I guess I'm just a person where I guess I don't really rely like on the system because I already know, well, just the experience that I had, at the age of 18, I know that they don't really care for me in a such a way that as they should, as, a doctor. So I just take matters into my own hands. Like I didn't really start learning until 2020. And that's because, we kind of had downtime to kind of, actually sit down and, research some stuff. So I didn't find out about a lot of things until 2020. They had me on this pen that was like a mixture of 75,
70,
25.
70-30.
Yeah, 70/30. And I was doing that at first, but I went into DK again because they were treating me as if I was a type 2 diabetic and not a type 1 diabetic. So I had to be like, hey, like I didn't even do the fast acting insulin. Like, you're supposed to do that every time you eat. I wasn't doing that. Like nobody told me, this is what you're supposed to be doing. I'm like, why didn't they like, hello, this is my life here. I already almost lost my life. I could have lost my life the first time. This is serious, but I don't know. They just don't care. They're there for a
Jamie,
check.
I don't know how new you are to this community, but
Very new.
just to let you know that many of us have the same story or similar stories, similar features in our story.
Yeah.
I was on that 70-30 mix, that's MPH and regular for, I was diagnosed in 2003. 2003. So I was on that for at least 9 years.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And your body was able to.
I look, I didn't have any technology, so I don't know what my body was going through, but my body did withstand it because I mean, I was given my insulin. I was never
Okay.
skipping insulin. And like
Okay.
there's even people today that still use that 70-30 mix and have limited to no complications. But
Oh, okay.
we know that with the advent of faster acting insulins and a basal background insulin, that it does help
Yeah.
not only relieve some of that stress of knowing like how much insulin is in your body, but
Right.
it also, I mean, with the use of fast acting insulin, it leaves your body faster also.
Mm. Yeah.
So it truly does limit those like overnight lows and
Yeah.
corrections. Like
Yeah.
you weren't able to give a correction with that seventy
Right.
thirty. We
Right. Yeah, that was it.
see, people don't know that out there. And I want y'all to want everybody listening to know this, that for the better part of our diagnosis and our lived experience with diabetes,
Yeah.
Jamie, you were the endocrinologist. I was the
Pretty much.
endocrinologist.
Pretty
Like,
much.
and when I tell people that stuff, they're like, how? Like, what? I was
Yeah.
figuring this out
Yeah.
until I found community and started diving into and doing my own research.
Right.
And now that this is your time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad, like I said, I'm not gonna lie, like when I was first diagnosed as well, like I'm I'm in my prime. I'm 18 years old. I mean, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. They had me kind of on a strict diet. I was, doing everything as is, but it still wasn't like, it wasn't working according to, I guess, how they wanted me to be. And like I said, in 2020, it was like a huge like wake up call for me. Um, to be like a little more personal, in 2014, my dad was going through what he was going through as well, but he was type 2. So that was even a more wake up call for me. He passed away June of 2014, so it'll be 10 years since his passing as well. But what I learned from him is that he wasn't taking care of himself, and I want to live. So I'm gonna do whatever I can, be the best advocate for myself in order for me to live. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I want to be here when I'm 70, even 90, if God bless me along to, live that long. I want to be here. So seeing, what he went through kind of, with me, uh, it woke me up and brought me like into shape.
So I did want to let you know this. Today, the average life expectancy for someone living with type 1 diabetes is equal to, and it's at sometimes even greater than people who don't have
Oh,
diabetes
okay.
because of our advancements in technology, in faster acting insulin, and us just being more inclined with our bodies. And we have that technology now, such as a CGM that shows us so many different variables. Uh,
Hmm.
and you said your dad passed in
June of
24, June of
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Jamie, are you telling me that around the same year, same time that you got your diagnosis, your father passed?
Yeah. I got my diagnosis in March of 2014. He was sick at that time as well. But his illness didn't really, I guess, speed, until I believe that May. So I didn't really have, I mean, I had, time for him to, he was even seeing what I was doing and, trying his best to, take his medication as well because he saw me doing it. He said, if I can do it, he can do it too. But unfortunately, it was a little too late for him. But yeah, it was a lot of changes in 2014 that kind of shaped me into, who I am today.
So your dad, even in passing, he gave you that push to continue life.
For sure.
And
For
not
sure.
just continue life like I'm alive, but continue life like I'm living. I'm going to
Yeah.
live and do my
Yeah.
best and have the greatest of outcomes. And I
Yeah.
know, today, like I know I believe strongly in the spirits of our people, like walking with us and guiding us and
Hmm.
supporting us.
Hmm.
And I can tell you this, that your dad's proud of you.
Yeah.
Your dad is
I
walking hand in hand with you through this journey,
hmm.
because I know no matter what age you are, I have three children, and as they grow up and mature, no matter what age they are, just like my parents said to me and have done for me,
Hmm.
there's I'm always going to be my parents' child. My children are
Hmm.
always going to be my children. So I'm going to always look at them as though they're those little people that
Yeah.
I need to fully take care of.
Uh-huh.
And even in your dad's time where he was near that tail end, he was still like watching
Hmm.
you and y'all were
Yeah.
helping each other.
Yeah. 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 It's beautiful. It was I mean, looking back, I didn't realize that, but now that I'm older and you reflect on things, you like wow, they really did help me during that time. I just didn't realize it because, like I said, when you're young, I don't know, it's like you're not thinking like that. thinking at a more smaller scale of life. Yeah.
So your dad, you said you believe he had T2, right?
Yeah.
Did he get a formal diagnosis of that, or was it just because he was a black person and because a lot
I
of people,
believe I believe so. Um I believe he was diagnosed in his 30s because his dad had it's like a
you said he was
a generational thing. His dad had it. So yeah, my dad was diagnosed in his 30s, but I'm not too sure like the exact like year. But I did know that, but he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, and I'm not sure if he had those resources to know how serious it is. I just feel like in the Black community, I feel like since a lot of people have this disease, I feel like people don't really take it as serious as they should because it's such a common thing to have. Um, so yeah,
right? A lot of
that's
people take
yeah,
use that Band-Aid approach
yeah. It's
where
like, oh, it's
it's
there. Like I'm
right
here.
until something ails
Yeah,
them, and okay, let me fix that problem.
yeah.
Put a patch on it
Yep.
instead of trying to figure out the full scope of what's actually occurring and happening.
Right.
Did your dad use
Right.
insulin?
Towards the end, yeah, but he was supposed to be just on the pill, but towards the end they had him doing the injections and the pill as well.
Because there are some people who've had like considered LADA, uh, so that's a late onset of diabetes in adults, and
Yeah,
also it's like an extended honeymoon. There's been people
yeah,
who've had that for 10, 15, 20 years.
yeah.
So that's why I advise everyone
Mhm.
to, once you get a diagnosis of diabetes today, ask for also an autoantibody test,
Okay.
because the autoantibody test will actually tell if you have what kind of diabetes you have, because
Okay.
there are certain markers that people with type 1 diabetes have. And
Right.
if you have more than one of them, it's a great percent chance that you have type 1, or at some point it will be you will get a diagnosis of type 1.
Okay. Yeah, I just when I went to my endocrinologist, they tested me for that, but I don't really know the results of that. They said it takes up to 2 weeks, so I'll be able to find out uh my actual diagnosis. I'm just going based off, when I woke up in the hospital. Hey, yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably
Look,
did test it then, but I'm not. I was
10 years, insulin dependent.
yeah,
We know what your diagnosis is.
yeah,
From
yeah,
onset 18, yeah, we know what your
yeah,
diagnosis is. Whether anyone listening, if you're diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, whatever, if you're insulin dependent from day one, we all have the same diabetes.
right,
Right. So
right,
do you said your grandfather also had
yeah,
diabetes?
yes,
Yes.
yes, yeah.
So
I don't. What you was about to ask?
that tells me like there's a strong link there. Like someone, I tell everyone this that I speak to, someone in your
Yeah,
family lineage, along that journey, if you go back and trace the steps,
yeah,
if you have type 1 diabetes, then someone in your family either had type 1 diabetes, or another autoimmune disease such as
yeah,
celiac disease, rheumatoid arthritis, Addison's, different
yeah,
types of irritable bowel syndrome such as colitis, Crohn's, like all of these things,
yeah,
Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, these are all autoimmune conditions.
yeah.
And if you look back in your family history, someone has one of them.
I believe so as well. Um, like I said, like now I'm looking back and I'm starting to, speak with family, about certain things. And it just seems like it's like a generational thing that's, going on. I just haven't really, I mean, I'm not going to find, like the pinpoint, but I have been, doing my own research within my family on both sides, my mom and my dad's side, because both sides carry that disease, as well as, other like high blood pressure as well. And some mental disorders as well. Yeah.
That usually comes hand in hand also, mental disorders such as bipolar.
Yeah.
So if you were able to look back on your family tree, or if you're on like ancestry.com and you get those DNA results and look at your family history and look at the death certificates of family members in the past, because like my great grandmom, she passed in 1954. And on her death certificate, it reads death due to acidosis. And at that time, like her family didn't know what she passed from. They just said like she had got real skinny, but she was already small. She had got real skinny and was like dehydrated, had stomach issues and whatnot. But now when we look back on that death certificate, like we know that more than likely she had type 1 diabetes.
Right. Because those are, all the symptoms. I was experiencing the stomach issues. I can date it back to elementary, but, the doctor, they said, oh, just, they had me on some type of pill that I had to take, but I didn't realize that, that was like, I'm going to say 5th grade to, I guess my sophomore year in college, that I would be, diagnosed with type 1. If I had the symptoms then, I feel like they should have caught it, in the 5th grade. But
look, it was a long, slow process.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, at least it was caught. Like they caught
at
it
least that's all I can say.
because the alternative is like the inevitable. Like if they did not get you your diagnosis, then we may not be having this conversation today.
Right.
So that was you said you were diagnosed at 18 years young.
Yeah. Yes.
Were you out of high school?
Yeah, it was like I went to the Art Institute of Houston. They go by quarters, but I believe I was technically like a sophomore in college. So it happened, which I'm very thankful for. It literally happened during spring break. So my whole spring break, I was experiencing, extreme weight loss. Like, you will not believe like how skinny I was. And I just thought it was just so normal.
Tell me about it.
You could see I was literally skeletons. Like you could, and I just thought that was just so normal. We were thinking that, oh, it's just a growth spurt. And I was drinking a lot. I was urinating a lot. And I also got like some type of sinus infection to where there was blood coming out of my nose. And I don't know why. I was just like, oh, this is nothing. It's just this.
You were 18. You were 18.
Yeah,
you were invincible.
Yeah. I was going through like everything at one time. And then I remember like during the middle of the night, I couldn't breathe. So I had went downstairs to my mom, and she thought it from the outside looking in, it looked as if I was having an anxiety attack. So she was trying to calm me down. And of course, eventually I would get my breath back, but then it would happen again. And then it just those breathing patterns kept happening and happening to the point where I think I went for a ride and I passed out, and like that's how I got my diagnosis. I literally just collapsed. I don't know where I was. Yeah. And I wasn't, what's strange is that I had this tube down my mouth. And, when you're waking up and, you're hooked up to a machine, but I didn't panic. It was just like, I don't know. I feel like it was just God, protecting me and just letting me know at that time, like, hey, you're okay. Everything is fine. There's no reason to panic. you're going to get through this. And I don't know. And that was just so strange. Like you would think, as a young person, you would think that you would, like wake up panic because you literally have a tube down your mouth. You can't, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's just strange.
You woke up
It's very
alive.
strange. Alive. Yeah.
Yes, alive, Jamie, because
Yeah.
you did not know, but you were probably near death.
Yeah.
Like when you think
Yeah.
back, and now that we see like the photos of like pre 1922 and the advent of insulin, like you see the photos of the little kids, how like
Mm-hmm.
emaciated they were, and all of
Mm-hmm.
those things. Like that was
Yeah.
us before our
Yeah.
diagnosis. And
Yeah.
you would think that over the years, like people would be more familiar with those signs and see
No.
them. That's why we say see the signs,
Mm-hmm.
the extreme thirst, the weight loss, the dehydration, the exhaustion. Like see these signs because they could save a life. There are people that
Right.
die every day undiagnosed.
Right. Yeah, like my one of my neighborhood friends, I thought he was just being like jealous at the time, but he was like, "You look sick. You need to." Like he was telling me, and I just wasn't believing him. I was like, I thought I was just, I don't know.
You were 18
Yeah,
at the time. Like I said, you were invincible. Like
yeah,
think about this. Like before your diagnosis, let's have this
yeah,
conversation. You were 18
yeah,
years old. Wasn't
yeah.
anybody able to tell you anything, right?
No,
Right. You were
no.
living your life like
Yeah,
against all odds, like Tupac
yeah,
say. Like
yeah,
like
yeah,
seriously. I think back at 18 and I was diagnosed at 20. So I think back at 18 and I'm
yeah,
like no way. If two
yeah,
years prior to my diagnosis, if I was going through a lot of the things that I was going through, I I probably wouldn't have made it because I really like health. Like I always
yeah,
been like into like athletics and all of those things, but
yeah.
I was out here doing whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah,
And
the same
nothing
here.
nothing
Yeah.
or no one was going to stop me at
Nope.
all. And I share this with a lot of like parents of teenagers
Uh-huh.
because they're like they a lot of them fight with their children on
Mhm.
like their children don't want to get their glucose levels down. They don't want to let their parents follow them on a CGM. They
Mhm.
like when their parents tell them to take their insulin
Right.
and they're like, I got this, whatever. But I tell the parents, you're gonna fight with your children no matter what,
Mhm.
especially as they age and they turn into teenagers and young adults. You're gonna fight with them no matter what. You're gonna tell them, make sure you buckle up when you're driving. Make sure
Mhm.
you have no more than so many certain amount of passengers. When you go in
Mhm.
this area, this neighborhood, be wary of the people.
Mhm.
You know, when you see the cops, you know what to do.
Right.
Like
Right.
this is a health condition. This is life
Right.
or death.
Mhm. Literally.
So don't give in to your child saying, stop nagging me, stop. No,
No.
stay on,
You need it. Yeah.
do as much as you can. Parent as long as you can. Not
Right.
saying nag, because we know that it can bring on things such as eating disorders and such, but parent your child. Do the
Right.
same things that you've done for your child since their birth. Nurture them,
Yeah.
guide them, learn the
Right.
disease, and share
Right.
with them so that they can be at their best.
Right. Yeah, I can say, my mom and my sister, they have been, like a huge help when it comes to me. They get on me still to this day, about a lot of things. And of course, I'm still in that. I mean, I'm still gonna take in, their advice. Uh, but at the same time, I know my body, my limits, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not I'm not going to do anything to, cause any harm within myself. It wasn't hard for me to let go of like chips, soda. The only thing I have an issue with is carbs. I still love my carbs, like bread, pasta. I mean,
As
we
long
can
as,
still eat those
right.
things,
a-
but
As long as you know how to dose for them and eat them in
yeah,
moderation, whatever, like
yeah,
you're an adult.
yeah.
Diabetes
Yeah,
shouldn't take away from us the things that other adults can do.
right,
It just adds on, like, really, we have a greater mental strain because we know that if we don't do these things, then physically things will occur.
mhm, yeah,
And diabetes in general, just like I call it like diabetes brain.
hmm,
If you're insulin dependent, then you know that at times there are things that are not in your control.
right,
And
right.
I mean, every day is a learning process. That's why we join, that's
Really,
why we join communities, like so that we can not only be, so that we won't be the only person.
right,
We can actually see other people that are living through this and reflect with them on this life and this lived experience. It's a community that we never knew
right,
that we wanted, or it's like a family. Like I never ever knew that I needed this sister. But
right.
once I engaged and had a conversation and sat down with this sister, I never ever want her to leave my side. Like
Right, right.
that's
I
how
agree. And I'm grateful, that you came in at the time that you did and created, this platform for not only POC, but for not to exclude anybody, but for Black people in general, because I never seen anybody who looked like me, who experience the same things as I do. I've always seen, other people, and I just thought that I was alone, not alone in a sense, but, I just felt like I didn't really have anybody who experienced the same thing. So I appreciate you for creating this platform.
look, I appreciate you for joining in because it's almost like growing up like as a kid. We have our friends, we have our social groups and whatnot, but as we mature and we become adults, a lot of those friends, a lot of those social groups, like we outlived them. Like really, like outlive them not in a sense of like life and death, but like we grow older, we
Hmm.
mature. Like we
Hmm.
see them in the past and we might wave and say hi, or we like I might tell my children, like, I remember so and so from back in the day. We used to do this and we used to do that or whatnot. But as we grow older and mature in life, we need a greater sense of community.
Hmm.
And this, like, I have never in my life had an experience like I have with people that look like me in a community like this.
Right.
Because the same stuff that I did when I was a kid, partying BS with people, like I can do with this community. Like
Yeah,
who
definitely.
who else can I sit down with and talk about like the day's struggle that I went through, the nighttime lows and the highs and
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
food that I'm eating and how
Right.
it alters and changes like how I feel and my
Right.
movements, my day to day. Like
Right.
there is no experience like this anywhere.
Right.
And was like we like you look like me and
Right.
the vulnerability that opens up in this space, like the things
Right.
we're able to truly talk about, like
Right.
it's therapeutic as well.
Right.
Because before, I mean that this is the greatest blessing of having diabetes.
Hmm.
Because we know if given a chance, diabetes is gone. Like we don't want it.
Right.
We don't want
Right.
it. But
At all.
this community right now, in this time, in this space, I need it.
Right.
So
Right.
like, thank you for joining me in this community.
And I always say that I was diagnosed because I always say it in past tense because I don't want this disease to control me. I control it. So that's my little saying, because I feel like at one point, I was so consumed in it, like I was pricking my finger a little too, like I was like getting a little over obsessive with it, and
Were
I
you
caused
like
myself to,
10 times a
huh?
day? Were you like 10 times a day?
Yeah, it was getting. I'm just like, hold on now. I need to calm down. I like, I had to realize, I like just let things be. I sometimes, you can inject yourself so much to, I'm talking about when I have like a lot of highs. It's hard for me to come down on it. So I kind of go into like a little bit of a panic mode. But I have to realize, like just if I just calm down, and just, let things be, it'll eventually, catch up.
Right, because going into that panic mode could increase like or activate like that adrenaline in your body, and that is
Yeah.
also going to make that high more stubborn. Like,
Right.
I don't know if you've noticed this since you've been using the CGM. Like when we get anxious,
Yeah.
like we could be just sitting down
Yeah.
watching our favorite sporting event or whatever, and our blood sugar
Yeah.
goes up. Like
Yeah.
now you're able to see that data.
Yeah.
Like you weren't able to see that previously. How
Right.
is that you're able to see that now?
It's it's really mind blowing to me because, you know, like I said, I'm coming from, like pricking my skin, and and if I'm being even more like transparent, I've gone maybe several days without even doing that. It's just like, I'm kind of just living my life, I know that's kind of dangerous to do. But with this device here, um I don't know, like you said, it's just the way how you can see like certain things affect, your sugar levels. And maybe, that could be a way for you to learn, okay, maybe make like say for food, maybe I won't eat as much as that like for the next time. So you're kind of learning, what to do and what not to do in a sense. If am I making any
You
sense?
are, and it's letting you
Okay.
also know, like, okay, maybe I should have given myself more insulin at
More
that time.
insulin too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They have me on a 1-to-8 ratio. So for every 8 grams, I
Of
take one
course.
unit for that. Yeah. Yeah.
Ha-
I just learned about that as well because I didn't know about that, carb counting.
mhm.
So yeah, it's a
We
lot
have
of new things that I'm just,
we have very similar stories. Just let you know, in about six
yeah,
months, you're gonna be like, I know that.
right.
It's gonna become like secondhand. Like seriously. Um,
Right.
I did want to know, do you have any questions regarding technology and things like that? Because one thing, like I'm known here in this space as like the T1D guru. If
Okay.
I can't give you the answer to it, then that's an issue. I'm seriously, I'm serious. Like type 1 diabetes, diabetes in general, insulin dependence is something I've studied and researched hard and dived into. Like I work in public health, but primarily dealing with type 1 diabetes. And I've been asked by my endocrinologist office to be a part of their team. I've trained some people in diabetes care and technology. Like this is what I do.
Right. Do you like inject yourself, or do you have, I don't know what the device is called, but it injects the insulin for you.
An
Do you
insulin pump.
yeah.
So I do have an insulin pump. I currently use the Omnipod.
Okay.
So
Do
it's
you
it's
prefer that versus manual injections, or it doesn't really matter for you?
um I hold on. Um how do I explain this one? So I do prefer the pump but I can equally be as great in my care and management without the pump.
Okay. So
And
it's just preference.
yes, it's preference more so because with the insulin pump, like I have my like handheld device with my Omnipod where I can actually just like when I'm about to eat, like, okay, I say that's 30 carbs. I can put in what my current blood sugar is and those 30 carbs and it would calculate it itself instead of me having to do all of that mental math. Yeah, it will calculate it and I just click start and it'll give me that amount of insulin that's needed. Another
Okay.
thing I can do is when my blood sugar is going low, I
You
can
can.
pause. I can pause or do a temp basal, which is a reduction of my long acting insulin. So I don't know if you know,
Okay.
it's like with the insulin pump, you only take one type of insulin.
Okay.
So I don't know, what do you take? Humalog, Novolog,
Yeah. Well, actually,
Fias?
it's a extension of Novolog, but it's not Novolog. I mean, it's the same but different variation. It's a generic version of
Okay.
Novolog.
Oh, hold on. What is it called? Insulin aspart.
Yeah.
I got you. I've taken them all. So it's the same. It's made by the same company.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so with an insulin pump, you will only take that fast acting insulin.
Okay.
And so it will give you like dosages, micro dosages of your basal throughout the day. So
Mm.
instead of you taking that long acting pen, I don't know if you take Lance's,
Toshiba.
Traceba. So instead of taking that and that being your 24-hour insulin, your insulin pump will actually give you that on the hour.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll continuously
Hmm.
give it to you. And one thing you can do that you can't do with your Traceba is say you're going low
Right.
and you don't and you're like, well, I gave my whatever dosage, say you take 26 units or something of Traceba.
That's right.
I
You
know.
got it.
I'm the diabetes guru. Look,
I love.
once you told me your insulin to carb ratio, I was like, oh, she's very similar to me.
Yeah.
So uh so say you take that 26 units and then later on during the day you're going low, but you haven't eaten anything. You haven't done anything different. That's saying that at some point in time you're getting too much insulin. Like that Traceba is giving
Really?
too much, like it's actually putting in too much insulin in your body. So if you had an insulin pump, let's say at 3:30 p.m. you're going low, then you can actually change your basal profile to like at 1:30 is when that basal insulin that's going into your body will affect you at 3:30. It's 2 hours, it's like 2 hours prior. So you can actually reduce it. So instead of that 1.1 unit, it will probably give you that hour. You can reduce it to like zero point 0.8 units to prevent going low at that 3:30, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
And also, if you are going low, let's say you out on a jog or run, or you at the park or doing whatever, at a club, whatever, and you're going low, you can pause your insulin for like half an hour because you're going low. Take those whatever
Okay.
amount of carbs it's going to take to bring you up, and then you can have it. I mean, set so that your insulin will automatically cut back on after half an hour. So instead of it still giving you insulin, which that Traceba is doing, you can't pause that Traceba. It's still
Right.
giving you insulin, still giving it, even if you're going low, meaning you're going
Right.
to have to take more carbs, more faster acting carbs, which in turn can lead to more like calories, more weight gain,
That's probably what I'm
things
dealing
like
with
that.
now. What's also crazy is that my primary doctor was having me take, this might sound outrageous to you, but she had me almost taking 40 units of the Trashiba, and I was just doing it. And I feel like I've gained, within the past 2 years, I've gained over 60 pounds. And I don't know if it's because of that or it's because of because I was on Humalog and then I switched to Novolog. And it just seemed like I'm having issues like with weight gain as well.
So I would say that it was primarily because of that basal. Like that's what
Yeah.
this isn't medical. I'm not giving you medical advice, but personal
Yeah.
advice. I'm going to tell you because you were on such a high dosage of basal. You were probably going low a lot more often, and then you
Yeah.
were treating it. So insulin isn't what's going to make you gain weight. It's the
Okay.
actual treatment of that insulin. Like if you have to treat it with carbs, fast acting carbs, like that's not working. Let me eat a whole meal. Maybe this will work. And then you're going low again because you have too much basal going on. You're like, I already treated this, but now you're going low again 2 hours later.
Right.
So now I gotta do something else. So that's gonna like
Yeah.
impede the weight gain. That's what
Yeah.
happens. It's diabetes in
Yeah.
general is a roller coaster. Everything about it is a roller coaster. The mental health, the physical health, it's all a roller coaster.
Yeah. I just know moving forward. Not saying I'm not gonna listen to my primary doctor, but at the same time, yeah. She I feel like she has led me in the wrong direction, which is why I'm glad that we had the opportunity in 2020 to kind of like shut down. That way I really got the opportunity to like zone in on my, type 1 and actually care for, like myself
Look,
versus then.
I truly understand that 2020 gave me the opportunity to just buckle down, and I told myself health first because it's always been for me and my family, like no matter what, it's family first. My kids,
Right.
my wife, like everything, that's all first. It's always been first. I mean, even today, it's still first, even though I know my diabetes care has to be top priority. But
Yeah.
it gave me an opportunity to just sit down and reflect on life and just say, like, okay, you got to be around for them because we know the news stories that were being released about people with diabetes and them
Mhm.
actually passing from getting COVID and infection and
Mhm.
all of those things. So we had to actually get more in tune with our bodies. And that's the approach you took in 2020. That's the approach I
Yeah.
took in 2020. And that's
Yeah.
the approach of like so many people in our community and
Yeah.
during that time because we had to.
Yeah. Had no choice. And once we get sick, like I tell everybody else, my body is already fighting. I don't want to do anything else to make it work even more harder than it already is. Yeah, I did get COVID though, but not to the extreme. I just had trouble with my breathing.
Look,
That's the only symptom I had.
you said I did get COVID, but not to everyone I know by now has gotten COVID. Like everyone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I was like the last person that I knew of to get it, and it was like a whole year and a half later. And
yeah. I think it was in like the beginning of 2021 or 2022, one of those.
look,
Yeah.
and COVID brought on some brain fog, a whole lot of things.
Yeah. I've heard as well as people who have just gotten COVID, they've also have gotten type 1 diabetes because of COVID. I'm not sure if those two are linked, but I've heard uh, that happening a lot recently.
Right. So I wouldn't say COVID didn't give them type 1 diabetes, but COVID like um helped push along that process of like how you said you were 5 years old, you may have had symptoms of type 1 diabetes. So COVID is a virus with a great percent of people who do get type 1 diabetes. They go through some type of viral infection or whatnot. So that viral infection actually just speeded along that process of getting type 1 diabetes. So those autoantibodies and markers were already there. They may have not have gotten it if they didn't get COVID, but that virus actually opened up that pathway. And
Gotcha.
yeah, so it happens with all viruses though, whether it's the
Yeah.
flu, like most young people that I know who get type 1 diabetes had some type of virus, whether it was the flu, Coxsackie's virus, which is like hand, foot, mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so hopefully soon they'll be able to do something
Sure.
that eradicates this and gets rid of it. And
For
I did want
sure.
to know, so living with this chronic health condition and
Uh-huh.
it being life altering, how do you remain motivated, upbeat?
Let me think about this. I feel like I'm like repeating like the same things, but for me, I just feel like I have a purpose here and I want to be able to fulfill that person and I want to see it through. Like I said, when I started photography, uh at the time, like it was such a I'll just say this, like I was more into like the fashion editorial type photography and then I switched into more like documentary photography. I live within Acres Homes and it's one of the oldest Black communities that's still here today. And so I just feel like my whole life, like the meaning of life has kind of changed for me. And I don't know, it kind of just motivated me to, I don't know, like just be better, do better, like just for myself, because I want to fulfill whatever God purpose is for me in my life. I may not at the time, I'm not realizing that, but when I had posted my 10-year anniversary post, like I was getting a lot of messages how I inspired people, and I didn't, realize that. So it just makes me like knowing that I can motivate other people to seek whatever they're trying to fulfill within themselves. Like that's what pushes me to keep going.
Right? You're a person that's behind the lens. So you know
Yeah.
that with that lens, you can create magic. And
Yeah.
that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So like when people tell you like you're motivating them, you're inspiration to them, that's
Yeah.
because the lens is now on you
Yeah.
and you're gifted and that lens is gifting you the things that you're normally gifting to other people. Like
All right.
being able to take the photos that you take within your community
All
and
right.
people were able to see a part of them that like really they're like, wow, that's me. And there's a story
Yeah.
behind that photo, behind that documentary. And you're gifting that of yourself also. So like
Mm-hmm.
before this conversation, before even like a few months ago, like I had never ever met you before.
Mm-hmm.
I never did. But I can say like you inspire the inspirers because I consider myself and other people have like someone who gives inspiration. You
Mm-hmm.
inspire me as well.
I appreciate that.
You do. Look, there is nothing stronger than a Black woman. Nothing at,
Love it.
at all. I mean, I was raised by a queen, and I always tell people like my mom is the closest thing to God that I've ever like encountered
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
I reached that point in life, like where I transition. Like
Right.
my mom is heaven on earth to me.
Right.
Right
Right. I can agree. I can attest to that as well.
now, since your diagnosis, has there been like things that have been misunderstood about you and diabetes?
The only thing that I can say is that I get a lot of people saying, like I can reverse it. And I've been through that journey as well. Look, I'll try anything to get rid
We
of, but uh
that rabbit hole was very wide open in them early years. I know.
yeah. Yeah, and I just had to realize I need to sometimes you have to tune other people out because everybody thinks they're just this holistic doctor and they're not. And I just had to block out what they were telling me because like I said, I've tried everything, and if it's not working. So I just feel like that's a lot of a misconception about type 1 is that it can be reversed. I feel as though I'm not saying it can be reversed, but I feel like maybe you can get to a point where you're not injecting as much because of I guess, your diet plan. But I don't believe that
Right, like
it could just fully be,
if you're on a
yeah.
keto diet or whatnot, like I mean, you're always going to have to take your basal, your long
Yeah, you're always
acting,
gonna have to, yeah,
but it can limit the amount of bolusing
yeah,
or corrections you have to do if you're
yeah,
eating less carbs and whatnot.
yeah,
But we know today there's no cure available for us,
yeah.
and if there
So
was, I mean,
we will be
mhm,
front line.
right. So has diabetes affected you socially, emotionally, dating?
um, I feel like it only probably has affected me like mentally. I don't really have issues socially. I'm currently in a relationship as well. And it hasn't affected us at all. Like, and more than anything, they're an advocate for me too. They are on me as well. If I need anything, if they notice any, because they've already, picked up on the signs as well. And, he knows, what to do if I'm acting a certain way. And, I've even had them inject for me sometimes because I'm like, what if I get to a point to where I
Where I
can't
can't.
inject for myself? So I have, them, have him do little things like that just so he knows, like what to do in, serious scenarios if it comes down to that.
Look, I know you've been
Yeah.
handling this on your own for so long, and like
Yeah.
this was me for years.
Yeah.
We got control issues. Look,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell nobody else, but we got serious control issues because
Yeah.
I mean we
Yeah.
were keeping ourselves alive and thriving
Yeah.
for so long to
Yeah.
I mean to be able to gift your partner the
Yeah.
opportunity to give you insulin, that's like
Yeah.
I'm going to let everybody know this. If you let someone else give you insulin, that's the
Yeah.
equivalent of letting someone else give you life.
Yeah.
Because
Literally, you're giving me life.
without insulin, we're not here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if he
Yeah.
ever gets, if your person ever gets a chance to listen to this, just know
Yeah.
you gave her life, like literally,
Yeah.
literally, and for her to be able to give you that life in a pen to give her, like you got to
Yeah.
know, like she likes you.
Yeah. If I'm being more transparent as well, it took me a long time to give myself insulin. I would have like somebody else do it for me. I don't know. I kind of psych myself out, like with the needle. But eventually I just got so comfortable, I don't really need anybody. I'll even if I'm at a restaurant, I no longer like go to the bathroom. I just right there. It's like I had to learn to not be ashamed of, what I'm dealing with. If somebody is uncomfortable with it, then, well, hey, just look away. You don't have to, look at me.
Right. You don't have to be as discreet as you
Yeah.
previously were
Yeah.
because
It took me a while to learn that though.
being discreet can mean like between like okay, like I'm not even going to be able to eat when everybody else is, or my blood sugar is
Right.
going to be so high just
Right.
because I was
Right.
timid in the fact of giving myself insulin in front of
Right.
people.
Right.
And my wife actually said this to we. So I'm in a Philly area, Philly region, and
Uh-huh.
we had a meetup maybe a couple months
Uh-huh.
ago in Philly, and we were talking about like when were you when did you become comfortable giving yourself insulin in front of people? And like
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't know. Like I don't know if I was ever uncomfortable, but I just didn't give it in front of people.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like I just I had a routine.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, nah, I think you were more uncomfortable early on, probably. She was like, because I remember when we first started talking, like, I don't remember you giving yourself insulin. I said I did. Like it
Yeah.
may have been like right there under the table or
Right. They don't,
whatnot.
yeah.
Right. Like I remember going on vacation one time with her family to Virginia Beach and her cousins and her sister. And I remember like we were sitting down on the beach at a restaurant, and I remember taking out my pen at the time and
Mm.
putting it in, like in my thigh or whatnot because I had on shorts. And I remember her
Yeah.
sister like looking at me like, like,
Like, oh, okay.
like what's going on? But then she was
Yeah.
like whatever. But I know
Yeah.
like that does. So if we don't tell people ahead of time, like that can be startling. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just
When I
like
first started, oh, sorry.
you're good.
When I first, started dating my boyfriend, I didn't tell him either. I don't know how it just came about. I don't really remember, but he's kind of used to the medical field, so it wasn't, you know, like a shocker to him. But it took me a while for him to like actually notice and tell him about my diagnosis, because I usually don't tell people either, because I don't feel like, going through all the I don't mind the questions. It just depends. I get a lot of dumb questions like, "Oh, that's the worst one, right?" I'm like, they're all not good. No one is worse, or that I get that question a lot. And it's just like, they're not. No one is worse than the other one. They both as equally as, like, nobody wants this disease.
So I do want to go back a little. So being
Uh-huh.
diagnosed at 18, and you said you were in an art school, right?
Yeah.
And upon the after that diagnosis,
Mhm.
go, going back to school, how was that change, or did it not change at that time because you didn't know any
Um.
better?
So probably after that, I only went to school like for a week, uh, and then I just stopped going because it was so many huge like things that were going on within my household, that it was just it became too much for me. As well as, like, one of my teachers, you know how when you're absent, like they want like some type of excuse or whatever, but she wanted, like, she didn't believe me. This was about my dad's passing. Like, she said she didn't, how you supposed to say, "Oh, condolences." She didn't say anything of that. She just said, "Oh, I want proof of his death." And I was just like, yeah, maybe this school, I need to just, because that's, you don't react that way.
Let me reevaluate my schooling situation before I have to
Yeah.
reevaluate her face.
Yeah. Because I'm like, here I am, newly diagnosed, and you're not showing like any empathy. You just want proof of it. So I was
Mhm.
just like, I'm okay. I'm good. So I just stopped going to school after that. But I did go back in 2020, and then I stopped again. And now we're
Look,
here.
there's nothing wrong with the stop and go in life because we are people living with a chronic health condition that is type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
Like we know that we have to put the importance of things at play. And that
Yeah.
starts off with our physical and our mental well-being.
Hmm.
Like seriously, if we don't have one, one okay, then the next isn't going to be okay. It has to be a fifty
Right.
fifty. Like, we can't be on a seesaw where our mental health is all the way down here and think our physical health
Right.
is up here, because it's not. If our
Right.
mental health is down here, then our physical health is down here. But if we can bring
Right.
them up evenly, then we'll be all right.
Right. Right.
We will
Right.
be okay. Did you have any
Right.
other questions regarding diabetes or anything?
Uh, no, not really. But am I open to sending a message if I have any questions?
Look,
Okay.
I'm open. Like, that's what I do. I've been working with some people probably for the last like 5, 6 years on helping them like be in like non-diabetic ranges. So
Uh-huh.
like I myself personally, I have been between 5.0 and 5.6 A1C for the last
I'm not even
six for the
wish.
last 6 years, and
Yeah.
that's with zero dietary restrictions. It's just me learning my body and learning insulin. And I've been able to help other people go from, like, one person went from a 17 A1C to
Wow.
below a
That
six
means
point
wow.
below a 6.5, and was able to birth a healthy baby girl.
Wow.
Like,
That's my ultimate goal. Because I was talking to the endocrinologist since I am getting, up in age, but
you
she
are
told
not
me,
getting up in age.
yes, okay. Well, we had that topic, about pregnancy and type 1. Currently my A1C is a 9. So I'm trying to get it down to at least a 7. So maybe that's one of the questions, I
Well,
can,
we
speak with you.
we can work on that offline.
Yeah.
And the number one thing we want to say start with is basal. So your basal should be able to keep you in a set range. As far as like hormones and food aren't introduced to it, it's your basal. Overnight basal testing should be able to keep you in a range that doesn't go up more than 20% or down more than 20%. So let's say we set your target at 100. Overnight, you shouldn't go below 80. You shouldn't go above 120. And that should be how it goes throughout the day as well, as long as food isn't introduced or other hormonal imbalances are introduced. And that's something your endocrinologist team should be able to do. Let them know,
Mhm.
I want to be set at 100. I want my basal set at 100. And see if you get any pushback from that, come to me,
Okay. I'll
because
definitely do that.
they should be able to do that, because you want to live your best life.
Right.
You don't want to wait until you're in a process of uh or creating another human to
Right.
have to go through the stressors of like, how am I going to get my blood sugar down, and then that's going to affect your relationship and all of those things.
Yeah.
Now, I must ask, as we wind down, Jamie,
Uh-huh.
have you ever, I mean, it's been 10 years, have you ever imagined your life without diabetes?
If I can't imagine what life was like before. I don't remember.
Well,
It's like my brain kind of I mean it's probably tucked down, in my brain, but I don't remember what life was like before that. I don't imagine that because I can't imagine it since I'm, you know, living with type 1.
you're involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got jumped in the gang and you can't get out.
No.
Now on that note, so on the day, because we speak it into existence.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it twice already. On the day, a cure is here. I mean, a real cure is here, and diabetes is gone. It's gone, like 100%. On that day, what do you do?
I'm gonna eat me 3 slices of pizza, ice cream, and Coca-Cola, and have like I just just being able to eat freely without having to worry about all the other
Nuances.
factors. That's the life I want to live.
Jaime, you have a mindset that many, I wish, could equally have, because through the years, the trials and tribulations that are diabetes, your father was diagnosed, your father passed, but you grabbed the baton and you ran with it. You haven't let it stop you. It may have altered some parts of who you are, but it has not
Mm-hmm.
stopped you at all. And I just know, like, the person that you are is a person that the community needs to know. And Jaime, I thank you for joining me on this journey that is the Chronically Well podcast, where we hold real conversations with community that need to be heard. Because Jaime, you are someone that needs to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really do.